This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Something unexpected happened after Jeremy Scott confessed to killing Michelle Schofield in Bone Valley Season 1.
Every time I hear about my dad, it's, oh, he's a killer. He's just straight evil.
I was becoming the bridge between Jeremy Scott and the son he'd never known.
At the end of the day, I'm literally a son of a killer.
Listen to new episodes of Bone Valley Season 2 starting April 9th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
All righty, here comes John Hines in the business we call him Hinesy. He's head coach of the Minnesota Wild, and he joins us now from the East Coast. John, Paul Allen, I have Star Tribune columnist Lavelle Neal with us today. We're at Target Field, where the Minnesota Twins have their home opener. Thank you very much for the time. And back when you were permanently on the East Coast, did you fancy yourself much of a baseball fan growing up? We'll stand by here as we're waiting for the head coach of the Minnesota Wild. We'll get that. Hey, Coach Hines. Okay. Yeah, we John, if you can hear us, we apologize for that. But we will figure this L out momentarily. Watch any of the game last night?
A little bit. I like them. They got a point, and that was huge out of that.
Something unexpected happened after Jeremy Scott confessed to killing Michelle Schofield in Bone Valley Season 1.
I just knew him as a kid.
Long, silent voices from his past came forward.
And he was just staring at me.
And they had secrets of their own to share.
Gilbert King. I'm the son of Jeremy Lynn Scott.
I was no longer just telling the story. I was part of it.
Every time I hear about my dad, it's, oh, he's a killer. He's just straight evil.
I was becoming the bridge between a killer and the son he'd never known.
If the cops and everything would have done their job properly, my dad would have been in jail. I would have never existed.
I never expected to find myself in this place. Now, I need to tell you how I got here.
At the end of the day, I'm literally a son of a killer.
Bone Valley, Season 2. Jeremy.
Jeremy, I want to tell you something.
Listen to new episodes of Bone Valley Season 2 starting April 9th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And to hear the entire new season ad-free with exclusive content starting April 9th, subscribe to Lava for Good Plus on Apple Podcasts.
Based on
Great. You got me, PA?
Yeah, I do. I apologize for that, too. I have Star Tribune columnist Lavelle Neal here with me. We're at Target Field. The Twins have their home opener today. Did you fancy yourself a baseball fan when you were a younger Coach Hines?
Yes, sir, I was. I played baseball growing up, and I was a big being from New England, I was a big Red Sox fan.
Who were some of the better players back then? Was that Carlton Fisk and Fred Lynn and all that?
Yeah, and then I had Roger Clemens, Wade Boggs, Big Poppy when I was getting a little bit older. So, yeah, there was some good players there for sure. Oil Can Boyd. Remember Oil Can Boyd?
Oh, Oil Can Boyd. Now, I was going to high school or junior college in Southern California when your Red Sox came out and played the California Angels in the postseason. And Oil Can Boyd may have had a compensated breakdown, a massive meltdown, like in a playoff game or something like that. Do you remember that?
I don't remember it off the top of my head, but you know what? I do remember him coming up, though, and I was a Red Sox fan, too, because I lived in Rhode Island. So sometimes we'd go up to Boston, but they had the Pawtucket Red Sox right in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And I used to see some of those guys come up. I saw Clemens pitch in Pawtucket before he went up. Oil Can Boyd for sure. So, yeah, I had some big interest in it.
Yeah, you're 9-10 years younger than me. Do you happen to remember the legend of Mark the Bird Fidrich?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I think he was from that area where John's talking about.
I think he was too. Yeah,
but ended up pitching for the Detroit Tigers. All right, now to your team.
Well, now I'm a Twins fan. You got fellow Rhode Islander Rocco Baldelli there.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
That's terrific. They got their home opener.
Don't forget
today
that. Don't forget that, guys.
Well, yeah, they got their home opener today at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock New York time. So you got plenty of time to sign up for the MLB Extra Innings package. You watch every inning today. Something to do, right?
Something to do. There we go.
Now, you and I have chatted a lot for several years, so you know I'm not big shot-taking guy, so don't take this as a shot. But last night had some rodeo to it. I mean, that whole game had some bucking bronco rodeo to it, just unpredictability all over the place. Like the PK was dynamite. You scored on a shorty. The Panarin goal was a debacle. Then you lost in OT, but you got a point. What was your take on just how the overall game transpired?
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a great assessment of it. That's what it felt like during the game, and then after the game, there was a lot of emotion in the game. I think both teams both teams I felt made some great plays, made some mistakes. I thought it was a highly competitive game, but there was a lot of different twists and turns to it, and I feel like. To be honest, I felt the last two games, even the Devils game, was very similar. With a called back goal, and they're thinking they're going to win it in the OT, and It's offside, and it just felt like the last two games in particular have been very emotional. Some twists and turns in the game where you have to be able to stay with it.
Hey, John, this is Lavelle. How you doing, man?
I'm great, man.
Good. Hey, you mentioned twists and turns. Did Rossi get slashed on that turnover? Because it sure in hell looked like a slash to me.
Yeah, it looked like a slash. It was, in my view, it was, and watching it live and then watch it on the replay. But obviously the ref didn't feel it was a hard enough slash, so to speak, to be able to call it. But it's. It happened, right? So there's nothing we can do about it. But I think sometimes it's, with refereeing, you go back and forth. Sometimes it's bang on. Sometimes it could be a little bit off. Or sometimes you feel like a call that might have got called, say, 7 out of 10 times, but it didn't get called last night and it wound up in the back of our net.
Yeah, so that leads to the Panarin goal. And now it's starting to make more sense to me. Like with Rossi, man, I felt terrible for him. Now nobody wants turnovers, but is he supposed to dive there after the giveaway, or like what happened? It was just an awkward situation.
Yeah, I think he lost his footing a little bit on when he lost the puck, and then he lost his footing a little bit, and then it's obviously a tough area for a turnover, because you have offensive possession. You're thinking it's a turnover in a critical area of the ice, right? High in the offensive zone. I didn't feel as the coach it was a negligent part, for him. I just think the circumstance played out that way. But that's why I think even sometimes if you feel pressure like that, maybe you just reset the puck down low quicker. But he did get a whack in the hands. It did influence the play.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was trying to make some high risk play. You just got to be cognizant in those areas sometimes of the pressure or no pressure, because if there is a mistake or you fall down or something like that, then sometimes you can give up a chance like that. So
then
that's
after
how we
that,
deal with it.
Maybe not on the bench or maybe between periods, but like with Marco, who's young, is the preach to him, my man, stay positive. Because it has to be, right? Because it was cool to see him get the third period goal.
Came back and scored.
And he drew a penalty. They didn't score on it, but he drew a penalty in the corner, so clearly he stayed engaged, which is important, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think at that point, it's the last minute of the second period. It's a tie game. We're down by 1. Obviously he's involved in the play where it happened. But it's a message to him, but it's also a message to the team that, listen, there's things that are going to happen in the game that are out of our control, but we got to stay with it. It's a 1-goal game. Let's come back out, tie it up. And, I liked, even when we went in the locker room, you can't hear everything that's said, but as you're kind of walking through, you could hear Moose and Spurgeon, talking to the team themselves even prior to when I even go in. So I felt like they had a good grasp of, I think, the mentality we needed to respond to the situation that happened.
Yeah, when it polices itself, specifically with Foligno and Spurgeon, that's a coach's dream, right?
Yeah, and for sure, you need to have leadership all the time. I think in these situations, where the games, it's a playoff push or, playoffs, and when you get into playoffs and you're in the playoffs, it does the team has to lead the team internally with those mindsets and they're powerful voices. Your captains are, especially the guys that we have. I think they can do it on the ice. They're very well respected, I think as men and as people. And I think that carries over to when they say things off the ice or in the locker room or whenever it may be, the team responds to it. And that's the most powerful leadership you can have.
Hey, John, this is Lavelle again. I remember at the end of last year talking to Billy Guerin, and he mentioned a few guys that he needed to see a little bit more from this season. And he mentioned Gaudreau and Johansson in particular. And I'm pretty sure he also told them that as well. So whenever they are on the ice together, I jokingly refer to them as the redemption line. I see that Johansson had the shorty yesterday, and Gaudreau has doubled his output from a year ago. Have you liked what you've gotten from those two guys?
I have. I think you're exactly right. There was some particular guys that we knew were better players and had some down years last year. And, to Marcus's credit and Freddie's credit that, they've come back and played well and played consistently for us. I think coming here down the stretch, both players have been real factors for us. I think they've been very consistent in their effort and in the way that they've played. Obviously with injuries that we've had, you need guys. We knew that those guys are capable of stepping up and being really strong contributors for us throughout the season. But what I like most is I think as of late, they both really played consistently and reliable for us. They're making differences in the games, and that's what you need. And I think hopefully, I know that those guys, are prideful guys, and they knew that they could do a better job, and they've certainly produced for us this year.
Now, certainly, John, including coaches in this, but from a player standpoint, we know they want to win and embrace each other on the ice after prevailing, specifically after a high-scoring, emotional game like last night. But they didn't. But you got a precious point. So that's such a wide range of emotions right there, man. It's like, you're the camera caught you after the overtime goal before you headed back, and you clearly were mad and you were frustrated, and I understand why. But then you realize you got a point. It's like how'd you sleep last night? How do you balance all of that?
Yeah, it's you know what? It's an emotional time of year. I think the guys are, even for myself. I mean, you're like the games are, they're very intense, and you get there's emotions, there's highs, there's lows. I think it's important that you got to feel them and you got to live them, but at the same time you got to make sure that you reset and you refocus. And sometimes you get a decent night's sleep, and sometimes you don't. Depends on what it is, but. The thing for me that I really like is I just, we wanted to get obviously 2 points in the last two games. I thought we fought for them. I thought we had opportunities to get it. We didn't. But to me, it's trying to now help guide and manage. Like the guys are all in. There's great effort. Yes, there's going to be mistakes. It's managing energy levels. It's managing their emotions. It's keeping them you're trying to get them in the sweet spot every game. Every day. You're trying to get them back in the sweet spot of where they're going to be able to play at max capacity. Now, it's disappointing you don't get the 2 points, but I think in these situations when you put the games are so intense, when you come out with none, that's harder because that every point in our position, 1 or 2 is very critical. Now, what we'd like to do is to get up and run and to get 2 points on Friday and then get ourselves and have a strong week coming up. I think that would be ideally what we want, but you got to go through the process to get there, and that's what my focus is.
Kaprizov within the next week, possibly.
Yeah, I don't want to put a timeline on a PA because it truly is hit or miss. Obviously, it's well known. He had the doctor's appointment. I talked with the media the other day.
Yep.
It all went in the right direction. He's in the next step of his return to play protocol. Now, how that goes will determine when he's going to be able to go, and that just started yesterday. So, probably in the next few days, I'll probably know more on possibly an expected return to play date.
Good.
Hey, John, it's Lavelle again. Have you started looking ahead to what type of ice time and he'll be able to handle once he comes back?
Yeah, we haven't talked about that specifically yet. Obviously, when this isn't going to be something where I walk in one day and they're like, "Hey, he's playing tomorrow." I'll have an idea, probably a day or two before, and then I think then the next set of circumstances will be meeting with our medical staff and saying, "Okay, he's going to return to play. What are the, where is he at, and what's the right way to be able to go about it, and have a talk with Kirill as well."
And the reason I ask as frequently as I do, because I'm not there every single day in the locker room or with the pregame pressers and stuff like that. The beat writers have different work to do than 9 to noon does. Is simply obviously he's good. Hockey obviously is the ultimate team game, so therefore it's not like a baseball pitcher coming back and he can just control everything for 7 innings. Then you go to the bullpen. I get that part of the equation, but the reason I ask so frequently is, man, you've just gone a long time without mentioning names, with players who generally play 13, now they're playing 19, and the 16s are playing 21, and eventually that has elasticity. I mean, eventually it can be stretched too far, right?
Well, I think it's one where I don't think for I think it goes sometimes game by game, like with the game schedule, and obviously Kirill's been out for a long time, and guys have, as you said, when that happens and you have a guy like Eck out, obviously, it moves some things around and guys play different roles in different minutes, and I think our guys have done a good job handling that. The thing you also consider now is when and at the point when they do come back, it's also trying to make sure, not make sure, but having a discussion with the group that hockey is the ultimate team game. They're going to play, they play 18, 20 minutes, maybe 21 minutes. So when they come back, it's not taking a breath. My belief is because they've been out, we've been able to continue to push and go through, and guys have stepped up, and we have to play as the ultimate team. We have to play as the ultimate team when you have injuries. Our guys have committed to that. But that also, in my opinion, can make you stronger when you do get guys back. Right. Because guys have stepped up, guys have played. There's a confidence level in the group, in themselves. But then when you get players back, you want to make sure that it's not, okay, we can take a breath now because so-and-so and so-and-so are back. No, we need to make sure that everybody continues to contribute. Everybody plays with the same mindset. Everybody's trying to play at max capacity. And then when you add those players in, you potentially could be a stronger team.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Nyquist played one of his better games last night, didn't he?
He did. Gus played really well. He was, it was nice to see, and I think even him scoring it gave him a little bit of juice. He's had a lot of opportunities. He's had opportunities to do it. The puck hasn't gone in for him, but I think he's more and more comfortable. He played a great game for us last night. It was a big difference in the game for us in a positive way, and hopefully that he can build off of that. And I think he's had some strong games for us. He's certainly had opportunities to score and produce some points prior to last night. But the fact that he stayed with it, been a great teammate, continues to play hard, works through it, and gets rewarded last night. Hopefully there's more of that coming with him.
Hey, John, what happened with Chisholm on that weird goal by the Rangers?
Yeah, it's a tough play. I think he got the puck kind of jammed up a little bit with him, and I think he tried to pull it back behind him to go around the net. Yeah. And it took a bad bounce, and then it wound up right on Kreider's stick right there. So, that's again, that to me isn't a guy trying to make a nonsensical play. It was a bad break. It was a bad bounce, and sometimes those things happen in the game.
Lastly, and thanks for the time, man. The Wild hook the Islanders tomorrow night. Then they come back and get the Dallas Stars. We're in deep stretch of the 24-25 season. And the Wild have gotten a couple of points, their last two on the East Coast. Now, tonight, John, do you watch Penguins Blues and or Ducks Flames, given you guys are 1-2-3 chasing those wild card spots? Or maybe do you go see Hamilton or fire up Netflix and just get away from it all?
Yeah, no, I won't watch. I won't watch the games. I do think at this point you're certainly aware of the race and what's going on, but I think it's, it is what it is. What we control our own destiny. I just find, truly it's, people talk about it all the time. Control what you can control. I have zero control over the St. Louis Blues and what's going on with their team and their games and the Calgary Flames, right? So my thing is I don't want to take energy away from my focus, my energy as the coach, and the thoughts and preparations for our team. I want to have all my mindset and my emotional energy focused on our group. And I think if you watch those games, it's up and down, it's here and there. I don't want to waste the energy doing it. I'll know what the score is, later tonight or tomorrow morning. It is what it is, but it's making sure that I'm ready to prepare our team for the New York Islanders.
Yeah, the other side of it, you can sit in your hotel room and root against them, and then maybe fire up a burner account on Twitter and rip them. And maybe, one of the players looks at it and takes it personally, and then all of a sudden they lose 10 in a row. I mean, there are alternatives here, Coach.
PA, why don't you take care of that for me?
Well, I'm pulling for you from afar, my man. Hey, thank you very much for the time. And I appreciate it greatly. Look forward to seeing you probably next week, or certainly having you on the radio. And have a great day, okay?
All right, sounds good, guys. Have fun today at the game.
Take care, John. Good luck.
John Hines, coach of the Minnesota Wild, weekly 9 to noon. Love those chats with him. Love Finchy on the radio. It's really cool to have those head coaches this time of the year. LaBelle Neal III, columnist, Star Tribune, along with yours truly, Paul Allen. We are out at Target Field. The home opener's 3 o'clock today against the no-hit and Stros. This radio show was supposed to be Box in the Batter's Box. J-Dub, Jared Wells, elite as he is, had everything ready to go in front of the dugout, but it's windy and it's 34 degrees, so Box in the Batter's Box has become Box in the Press Box, and just a joyous feel here at Target Field, not only with the staff of the Minnesota Twins. The hospitality here today for 9 to noon has been spectacular. About the only way to put it. It's 10 to 10 with the accommodations and the hospitality and the TV booth and everything. Also helping with the guests, the likes of the president of baseball operations, Derek Falvey, joined the show. And also coming up in a little bit, about 15, 20 minutes from now, we're going to have Harrison Bader. He has 3 home runs, outfielder for the Twins, followed by Twins immortality, Justin Morneau, at about 11:03. And an hour from now, new general manager elevated in the mix. His name is Jeremy Zoll, and he'll join 9 to noon, about 11:20 from Target Field. That last marathon segment with the head coach provided by Steve's Appliances and stevesappliances.com. If you need appliances, check out the website. Hopefully it's for you. stevesappliances.com. You're listening to 9 to noon.
Something unexpected happened after Jeremy Scott confessed to killing Michelle Schofield in Bone Valley Season 1.
I just knew him as a kid.
Long, silent voices from his past came forward.
And he was just staring at me.
And they had secrets of their own to share.
Gilbert King. I'm the son of Jeremy Lynn Scott.
I was no longer just telling the story. I was part of it.
Every time I hear about my dad, it's, he's a killer. He's just straight evil.
I was becoming the bridge between a killer and the son he'd never known.
If the cops and everything would have done their job properly, my dad would have been in jail. I would have never existed.
I never expected to find myself in this place. Now, I need to tell you how I got here.
At the end of the day, I'm literally a son of a killer.
Bone Valley, Season 2. Jeremy.
Jeremy, I want to tell you something.
Listen to new episodes of Bone Valley Season 2 starting April 9th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And to hear the entire new season ad-free with exclusive content starting April 9th, subscribe to Lava for Good Plus on Apple Podcasts.
Catch the tourney finals with us. Join Max Fuller next Monday night for a KFAN Tournament Finals watch party at the Rabbit Hole in Minneapolis. Stop by starting at 7:30 to see a champion crowned with our own Max Fuller. And make sure to ask us how you can secure your own KFAN swag. Get the full details now at KFAN.com/calendar.
was Kara Savage producing 9 to Noon from the flagship for 9 to Noon Productions, KFAN. LaBelle Neal III, columnist for the Star Tribune. Yours truly, Paul Allen, with engineer Jared Wells. We're at Target Field for the home opener. 3 o'clock, Twins and Astros today. And here comes Minnesota Twins outfielder Harrison Bader. Nice enough to join 9 to Noon. 3 home runs so far, including 2 in the series win against the Chicago White Sox. It's great to meet you, man. It's a pleasure to meet you. I followed your career from afar. Just transparently speaking, didn't necessarily remember the Reds or Mets days the way I did the Cardinals or Yankees days. But congratulations on the career you've had so far, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Great to meet you. Great to be here. Like you mentioned, been a part of some really great organizations, and I'm just very grateful and fortunate to be a part of another, great organization with the Minnesota Twins. So I'm happy to be here.
What were the conditions like in Chicago? I mean, I'm watching on TV from afar, and the night game looks super cold, and but does that type of weather favor a hitter or a pitcher with what you've seen over the years?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think it's a little bit of both. Have some challenges, but Chicago actually wasn't too bad. Just maybe a little cold, a little windy, a little rainy.
Was it blowing out?
I was kind of swirling all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that first play of the last game there was a ball that was pretty much blown up in there, and Buck made a fantastic catch on her, basically right in front of me, and I wasn't anticipating it. So just part of those elements that I think both sides have to deal with.
Yeah, and I'm going to go complete rube on this for a minute because, again, I watch it from afar. I've seen you play before. Here you are. Didn't have the curly hair with the Yankees. Now you do. It's just kind of cool, being in a situation like this. 59-year-old child, just bear with me. But when you play at Wrigley Field and the flags are straight out, so wind out at Wrigley. As a player, do you get out there for batting practice and stuff and look up and you just know? I mean, how excited do you get when you see that? Is it a big time jet stream?
Yeah, I mean we were in the south side.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about past in your career,
yeah,
when you played with the Cardinals, stuff like that.
I was going to say, I mean, playing at Wrigley is an absolutely amazing experience. I think just Chicago in general is just such a great sports town. But like you mentioned, I think it really is important to kind of get out there and test your elements. Specifically, though, for that last game, because of the rain delay, we basically were told that we had to play about an hour or so before the game. So we really didn't have time to get out there and test the elements, specifically the wind and whatnot. So, it just goes to show you that you got to kind of check all your boxes every single time you take that field, because you never know what might come into play as soon as that ball is hit to you.
Yeah, I might as well just go through every stadium. So what's it like playing at Petco? What's it like playing at Chavez Ravine? What's it like playing at Seattle at night? Stuff like that with Harrison Bader. And when it comes to a rain delay on a getaway day, it's early in the season, so, bodies are feeling good, minds are clear and stuff like that. But outside of losing an individual game, is a delay like that on a getaway day, is that frustrating?
Yeah, it can be. It's not ideal. But again, this game continues to throw things and situations that are not ideal at you day in and day out. And I think baseball players, more than ever, just do a fantastic job of adjusting. And also, listen, the communication with Rocco and telling us, kind of what was going on, what they were talking about, and what the plan was moving forward was awesome. So, I think we're trained to kind of be able to turn our minds on when we need to and then turn them off when necessary as well. So it wasn't too bad. We definitely had worse experiences, but overall, I think it's really good to get these kind of funky starts out of the way, because there's no doubt that as we progress in the season, we're going to be presented with similar challenges, so we can kind of tap into it moving forward and be better for it next time.
And you have cards in the clubhouse.
And we got cards in the clubhouse.
Yeah, it's always cool to kill time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to ask about that, because Rocco communicated it may be a long delay. So, are you a card playing guy? Are you a take a nap guy? Are you going in and hit hit off the tee for a little bit? How do you spend the time?
Yeah, when you kind of know that the game's not going to be until a certain time, I'm definitely a take a nap and watch The Office guy. I'm not a not a card
and just
player.
Wake up spry and just ready to go out and play.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Damn, to be young.
Yeah, if I want to turn my competitive juices off, so even with cards, I want to win hands. I want to win some money. So in that situation, I want to just totally be chill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Harrison, when the Twins were courting Nelson
awesome.
Cruz as a free agent, Cruz met with him at the dinner place right off Washington Avenue, I believe. And Nelson asked him, "Do you guys have a sleep? Do you have a sleep room?" And the Twins like, "We have one now." And so they made a sleep room just for Nelson. But ever since then, I'm hearing more and more about players taking naps. I'm starting to think that the the baseball clubhouse of the future is going to have a sleep pod in it. How many guys are now? You see that guys do that now, even for when there's not a rain delay. Some guys are getting naps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of information on those like short 25 to 27-minute naps that are really beneficial for performance. Even having a coffee beforehand and kind of waking up as the coffee's setting in 20 minutes later or so. I mean, there's a lot of research on it, and I think, listen, anything we can do to kind of calm our minds and then get back to it, I think is beneficial. We see it all over sports. So, every clubhouse I've been in has a nap room, so I'm excited that Nelson kind of got one in here as well.
That's awesome. I covered I covered as a Twins beat writer for 22 years. Before that, I covered the Kansas City Royals for 5. And so I used to drive over to St. Louis to pick up stories on the National League side. So I went to Old Bush. I met Jack Buck and Joe Buck, in the press box. So I have an understanding of how passionate the St. Louis fan base is about the game. Can you describe what it's like? Because I have never been there for opening day, and that's the first time I've watched the opening day and that pregame ceremony when they bring in the legends, and then they bring in the players in the procession.
In the cars?
And the trucks and everything.
Yeah, that was sweet.
And usually the visiting team was announced first, but because there's such a big presentation, you guys went out after all that. What's it like to go through that?
Yeah, I mean, to go through it on the home and away side has been fantastic. It really is the most special thing in opening day, in my opinion. And it's not to speak about any other organization. Just what St. Louis does is just so fantastic. And I've told this story before, but when I got drafted by the Cardinals initially in June of 2015, the first thing I did was just go on YouTube, just kind of gather whatever information I could. And actually, the first video that popped up was an opening day ceremony with the Clydesdales and everything. And I just thought it was really special. It just looked so cool. And then to see it in person, obviously on that side and then on this side, it's just really special. I'm glad a bunch of guys in the clubhouse got the opportunity to experience that because, what they do is, baseball's tradition over there. And, you said it best. Passion's the only word that really comes to mind that best encapsulates what they do over there. And, when the team wins, the city feels it. When the team loses, the city feels it. So, experiencing that for all those years was an amazing way to begin my career. And every time I go back to St. Louis, I'm extremely grateful for the fans and all the love there.
Harrison Bader, outfielder for the Twins, he's a New York native and went to high school in the Bronx. Yankees fan growing up? Yankees or Mets?
I was a Yankees fan.
Okay,
yeah.
So permit me to be the 1,000th person to ask you this question. But what was it like for you hitting home runs at Yankee Stadium when you were wearing the pinstripes? And that includes big home runs in the playoffs, man.
Yeah. No, I just it really was a dream come true. Every single day I've been able to. It was a dream come true whenever I got drafted. Me and my father, we joke all the time. We always say at dinner, we laugh because we just kind of look at each other like, how did we end up here? Because we had no plan. There's no plan B, plan C. I just know every single day that. When I was a young kid, after my dad was done with work, he was always there to pitch to me. He was always there to catch, to have catch with me.
Wow.
He never missed a single game, and we had a grueling schedule since I was a sophomore in high school. My baseball coach from New York, it's called the New York Grays, and we played over 100 games every summer, and he never missed a single game.
Separate from high school, right?
Separate from high school season, which takes place in the spring. So, my father never missed a game. He was always there, and like I said too, we never had a plan, but all we knew is that we wanted to play baseball today, and when tomorrow comes, you keep playing it, and you just keep stacking good days, and before you know it, you might end up doing something special with it. So,
wow.
I guess going back to it, just kind of doing it in my hometown now in a major league uniform, where I kind of started in that same hometown in a little league uniform. I think it really is special, and it's something that I just am eternally grateful for, and I carry it every single day I take the field.
That's elite. What a great story. So have you seen the old school movie, A Bronx Tale?
Yeah, of course.
Well, of course, 1,000,000 times, right? Mush and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to New York City 1,000,000 times. I've been to Jamaica, Queens, and some other places. Can't necessarily say I've been to the Bronx.
Yeah.
I mean, 2025 is a little different than what was shown from supposedly the 70s. But A Bronx Tale, it's nothing like that anymore, right?
No, it's not.
You don't have Vinny and John Gotti outside of an Italian restaurant on a phone that has a rotodell, you mean?
You probably still have that. It might not be a rotodell. You probably still have that.
Hear that New York accent come out when he starts talking about the phones on the tables?
No, I think no, there's just so much color and so much color and vibrancy in that city, in all of its boroughs, and the area of the Bronx where I went to school was really residential and everything. They actually are home to, in my opinion, the single best carrot cake place in the world, called Lloyd's Carrot Cake. It's on Broadway. But anyway, I just there's so many different pockets of New York. You know what it's about. But no, I will say
it's cool. I love
it's
big
nothing
cities.
like the Bronx Tale. No, it's nothing like that anymore.
So what's that famous baseball place, bar, restaurant?
Foley's.
Did Foley's close?
It's closed.
Damn.
Yeah,
Are you familiar with Foley's? Had a bunch of baseballs autographed.
The entire wall had signed baseballs. Umpires from Major League Baseball.
Yes.
You see a bunch of players. Even media had baseballs signed on the wall.
Yeah, it's like where all the umps went after games and talked about missed calls and what they were going to do the next game and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a place you can't find anybody like us in there.
I just brought it right back to
he
a
had the
Bronx
ball on
Tale.
the wall.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think I did. No, they hid it behind, probably behind Hunter Wendelstedt after some things said in there.
Yeah, Sean's the owner.
What's
there.
up, Justin? How you been, man?
Sean's the owner there, and it's just a long-time sports writer hangout. And he had to close it down just because of taxes and everything. But he used to show up at the winter meetings every year.
Yeah,
just a big baseball fan.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
It's always good to go find those type of places on the road.
So Giants or Jets growing up, and why? And usually I think Yankees fans are Giants fans, and like Mets fans or Jets fans. At least I've heard that before. Is it accurate?
Yeah, I would say it's about 85% accurate.
Yeah.
If you're Yankees fans, you normally stick with the Giants. But
Giants were your squad?
Yeah. No, I mean, I really honestly like both football teams. I'm kind of impartial when it comes to football. I've always been an Oakland Raiders fan. I got that from my dad. But no, I mean, I've always been a fan of the Giants and Jets. I love football. At least definitely playoff football. I definitely get to watch that more often than I do regular season games. But no, yeah, I'm really kind of impartial to both teams.
Who wins best 3 out of 5 arm wrestling? You or Jay Stingler? Do you get him 3-0? You're a lot younger, but when I met him and he came in here, I'm like, have you met Dana White? I mean, like, what's next? UFC with this thing? Holy, and you too. Jeez.
I don't know. That scares me because my UCL, but I don't know. We'll see. That'd be a good match.
Actually, like people who lift weights and work on their body and stuff, pro athletes is what we call them in the business. And you get somebody like Jace, who's in his mid-40s, but, I mean, clearly pays attention to it. You should go opposite arms.
Yeah, I could do that.
Is what really defines the strength.
But he's a lefty, so.
But Jace also knows jiu-jitsu, too. I think that's
if he loses, he'll kick you in the face. All right, last one. Have you texted your former teammate Aaron Judge and reminded him you're just a home run behind him?
Nah, he's got it. He's got it.
Well, but now's the time to do it.
Exactly. Now we got to capitalize on the fact that I'm anywhere near close to the same universe as him. But right. No, he's got that crown for a reason.
Oh, so, for sure. All right. Last one, I promise. Target Field. When you came here with I don't know, Cardinals, Reds, Mets, Yankees, whatever.
Yeah.
Like when it's warm and conditions are a little warmer than today. How is this ballpark like as an adversary, an opponent? Yeah. What do people think of it? And like from a hitter standpoint, does it have some launching pad to it or what?
Yeah, there's some launching pad aspects to it for sure. Down the lines and kind of to straightaway left and right field, and then it actually does play very big to center field and the gaps. So just as an outfielder, just understanding how the ball, flies off the wall when it hits it, or if it hangs up in certain areas. But no, it's always a beautiful stadium. It's a really good batter's eye. The vision here is fantastic, and we get a beautiful vantage point of it here. So I'm just excited to play 81 games on this year.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
Are you in the lineup today?
I am in the lineup today, yeah.
Oh, sweet. If you weren't, I'm going to be Rocco out of his mind. I mean, you're a home run behind Aaron Judge. Holy cow, capital. Strike the iron while it's hot. That was a treat meeting you, man.
Yeah, likewise.
Yep, God bless you and your family.
Thank you so much,
and,
you too.
Yep, and thank you. And best of luck this season, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Harrison Bader, 9 to noon. Twins Immortality, Justin Morneau joins us next.
Something unexpected happened after Jeremy Scott confessed to killing Michelle Schofield in Bone Valley Season 1.
Every time I hear about my dad, it's, he's a killer. He's just straight evil.
I was becoming the bridge between Jeremy Scott and the son he'd never known.
At the end of the day, I'm literally a son of a killer.
Listen to new episodes of Bone Valley Season 2 starting April 9th on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.